Good morning. I am higher vibrations and so are you. And Josie is my guest today. She will be here in a few moments. So I just thought I'd just jump on and talk to you all who's here. There's a really exciting full calendar ahead. We have a lot of new guests that are coming on. And I just kind of wanted to highlight this real quick so y'all know what's coming up. Next week we have Jacqueline. She's coming on the 30th for Wednesday. Um, I have not spoken to who I mean to speak to regarding my Fridays. This is a new thing, coming here live on Fridays. I'm thinking about doing it just about every week, like I do my Wednesday show. Oh, and Jackson, you're okay. You hello,
How you doing, love?
wonderful, good to see you.
Fun
We are
times, fun
live.
times.
Well, just so you know, we are live. I thought, well, just come on
Perfect.
and just chit chat. So, how
I'm glad that you held space for me. Thank you so much. And I am not in my backyard, but I am in a backyard.
right
The
on?
day was really crazy, but I promised the backyard. So I'm outside.
Right on. It's beautiful though. I love that.
Yes. Wow.
So, how have you been? There's been some crazy energy going through lately, huh?
I had a headache for 3 days. Okay. I'm happy to be pain free right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what the energy is doing, but it's doing the most. Like the mental faculties are not there. Like I literally had to, energize the water in the shower to clear my crown. Like, I'm pulling out everything, all the visualizations, all of the tools, everything to get right and
Right.
function.
Yeah. And I still, even though I've been putting everything into it, I still feel like I'm behind somehow.
Yeah, yeah. That's also been a thing. Chunks of time kind of sliding by each other.
Mhm.
It's
Mm,
like, wait, I could have swore I just did that. That didn't already happen. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll do it again, even though mentally you swore you did it already. But there's a lot of repetitive, like the deja vu is not deja vu.
yeah.
It's a jumble of things, and it's again, I keep having to remind myself. Well, the awareness is expanded, and you're living literally, like in your waking time, you're living all of these different realities, and
Yeah.
sometimes they tend to bump into each other and merge and things like that. And you just got to act natural when those things happen.
Yeah. Just keep the next foot going in front of the other one, right? That's all you
That
can
part,
really do.
I have to ignore so much. There's so much that I've got to ignore and just not really get into, because that's the dangerous part right now. Getting into anything is dangerous.
Yeah.
You just kind of let everything just do its thing, and then you just keep it going.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, you know what? I know there's a lot of people who know who you are, but there might be people who don't. You want to introduce yourself?
Hmm.
Like tell them what you're about and what kind of stuff you do?
Awesome. Well, my name is Josie, and just a disclaimer, I can't really see myself as good as I would like to see myself.
You look great. You look great.
So I know y'all can see me. Just
Yes.
know if I'm not looking right at you, that's why. But my name is Josie Jackson. I am here in beautiful Jacksonville, Florida. Right? This is my locale. I'm a licensed massage therapist that is also a psychic channel, and I'm a Star Magic healing facilitator, as well as Reiki level 2. What else? Uh I've got a YouTube channel. That's pretty much where a lot of people found me. I've been on YouTube for a little while. It's my third channel though, because squirrel brain. And plus, YouTube is my stepchild. Not everybody sets out to make it big on YouTube. I like outside better.
Right.
I'm a camper. I like to travel and camp. So I wasn't really worried about all of that. but I do have a whole lot, like literally all over the world, a whole lot of soul tribe. Pam is one. So yeah, we're here doing this thing, and this is how we do it. It's pretty freestyle. You know, everybody's welcome. We want you to feel like family. And that's how I operate. I run a company called 50 Essentials. And it's literally, you know, like fifth dimension and above lifestyle type content. You know, I do readings, I do energy healing sessions. I'm focusing a lot more on my Patreon now. So I'm teaching Qigong in there. I do readings in there. And then I have posts that go out every now and again because I utilize Vedic astrology as a tool. So I've got Vedic astrology posts in there as well. Um, yeah, I do a lot of other stuff, but we ain't got time for all of that.
A woman of many trades.
I cannot be bored. I'm a sacral generator, y'all. Okay.
Love it.
I like to do the things.
What's the difference between Western astrology and Vedic astrology?
It's about a 30-degree difference, you know, give or take 30 whole degrees. It can be. Now, depending on when you were born, you may stay the same sign in certain areas, but a lot of times your signs change. Okay. And one recent question I got was somebody was asking me, you know, with the current transits and stuff, and they were like, well, you know, if this is in Pisces, but that's in Aries in Western, like, does it make a difference? And I'm like, well, whenever there's something like a retrograde or um, a planetary movement, that's going to be general across the board. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll go direct on the same date. It'll go retrograde on the same date, whether it's Western or Vedic. The only difference is the sign. Literally, that's the only difference. So a lot of times, let's say, for example, if you got Mercury retrograde in, you know, Cancer, in Vedic, it may either be retrograde in the sign before or after, depending on the level, the amount of degrees, you
Okay.
know. That's pretty much how that works. In the big transits, Saturn, like for me right now, Saturn is in my first house in Aquarius. But for Western astrology, I don't believe Saturn is in Aquarius. I think Saturn is in Capricorn. I don't remember off the top of my head though. So the big transits, it's the same concept but bigger. You get it?
Right. Yeah,
Something like that.
that's awesome. I've noticed that I resonate a lot more with what seems more accurate, the Vedic astrology. That what so just what little you're the one who introduced it to me at all. Like I'd heard of it. I just didn't really look into it all or realize that there was so much differences.
I ran from it for years. Okay. That was the first astrology. First of all, when I first awakened, I thought I was getting a reading. I didn't know what I was doing actually, but I ended up getting a Vedic astrology reading, the first reading I ever got. And I did not realize what it was. So I had to get
Mm.
educated. But at that time, I was not attracted to Vedic astrology. I didn't care about really learning it. And then I got into Western astrology and I, you know, was comfortable for some years until 2018, until my son randomly decided to go to Full Sail University on a whim. And I was like, how are we gonna pay for this? I looked at the chart. I said, oh no, I need to look at the Vedic chart for this one. And then I rolled the dice and everything that's all she wrote, you know? Like I at that moment I was like, no, I need more. I had to look at my Vedic chart. And that's when I found out I was in the middle of a Ketu Mahadasha and a whole bunch of other awesome things that you don't get with Western astrology because they follow the Vedas as well. It's not just astrology in there. You got Ayurvedic medicine in there too because your doshas are in there. All of that stuff is in there. So yeah, it's
Wow.
definitely different, and the divisional charts are ridiculous. I only focus on the D9 and the D1 and D9 charts. Those two. Um, but I'm not a Vedic astrologer. I get you ready to see one though. I help
Right.
you navigate your chart.
Yeah.
I got
I mean,
videos to help you navigate your chart and learn the basics. Yep.
and you just are a wealth of information regarding it. Like I know that you present yourself as if you're only scratching the surface, but the depth of knowledge that you carry is
Oh
is
yeah.
profound, you know, and it's
It comes
deeply
out when it's
appreciated.
supposed to though. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, don't mistake this for logic. Whatever's happening right now, whatever information I give you, that file was opened because it was time. I'm not really there for it when I'm doing a lot of these things. I've stepped
Mhm.
back, and a lot of times, again, a lot of this stuff is channeled. I have a very unique symbiosis going on with technology. So I could be in meditation. I'll get a
Yeah.
word that I've never heard before. My spirit team knows I'm going to go look it up. Then I go look it up and I let them
Right.
guide me because maybe the first definition of the word is not what they meant. So, and then sometimes I'll sit with something for 2 weeks. I won't make a big deal out of it, but it'll be in the back of my mind. And then finally, I will find the thing that is trying to give me wisdom, like what it means, and the whole situation will open up. But that's my process. Me and technology, though, I tend to find things quickly. Somebody can come and ask me something I know nothing about, and I will find the answer before they do. It's weird.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's meant to occur. You can see it. You can tell that it's lined up. And you report these, like you'll write out these
Oh
discoveries
yeah.
and put them up in your Patreon, which is something that I wanted to bring up for people, you know, like how does that work? Like there and from my experience, there's a lot of information and knowledge that can come through without even paying
Hmm.
for the
Yeah. My
Patreon.
with my Patreon, the first tier, like the general tier, is free because the people who pay like that $3 membership, they're getting the same thing as the free members. They're just choosing to donate. And I just created
Mhm.
the second tier where we're doing monthly group healings. The first one was awesome because it was something different. I did something different. Instead of the guided meditation and light language activation, everybody came in,
Mhm.
got comfortable, and I just played music. I let everybody know when I was going in, and they just, relaxed and received. And I pulled up their hologram and I did Reiki inside of the quantum field on the group. And yeah, it's always fun.
Wow.
At the end, we talk about, what we experienced. And there's always things that I see that belong to somebody. So I'll let people know I saw this or that. And they'll be like, oh, that's me. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really cool. I wanted to highlight a comment for you because
Yeah.
you said you can't see. Uh, Brittany Hickens says, Josie has read my chart and holy crap, she's
Oh,
good. She has helped me out so much,
I'm
and I
glad
am
you're
truly
here.
grateful.
Thank you. I am so oh yeah. Oh yeah. I do sometimes switch out my services, and sometimes I literally will just read someone's chart for them. But again, I make it very clear because I don't need nobody coming for me. Okay. I don't have time for that. I'm all about the joy, the
Right?
expansion. I don't have time to feel like, oh, she's trying to be something she's not. No, I can be whatever I want to be at any given moment. It's all being channeled. It's
Yeah.
not, I'm not over here functioning in a linear way. So whatever it is that you need,
Yeah.
that's what I like to do in the moment. That's how I like things to be, you know? Kind of like a shaman, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's the truest form of going with the flow, which is really what we are all returning to, this way of like going with the flow. And it is complicated with, because of we're perpendicular
Oh
to
yeah.
this linear world of 9 to 5 kind of punch clock kind of stuff. And then trying to also, and then our truest nature is to do this flow way that doesn't have anything to do with the banks of the
Yep.
river. It's the river itself.
So many components, and if you can't find, this is what I love, little secret, tiny secret people don't really know about me because you don't see me all the time in that attire. I'm not wearing my toasty beads, but low key, I'm about that Hare Krishna gang, okay? And one thing about bhakti yoga that I love is it's literally teaching you how to see the beauty in everything. And it's such a heart
Yeah.
expanding feeling. Uh Bhakti yoga is awesome. Just in case you want to look into that. It's literally a practice that helps you to see the love, the beauty in all things. That's the short version.
How do you spell that? Bhakti?
BHAKTI. Yeah.
KTI. I I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna check
Mhm.
that. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, there's so many yogas that are not the physical yoga. There's so many of the other ones that people don't really
Right.
pay much attention to. But yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
5D
mom.
Sky Marie. Yes, the healing yes, the healing session with Josie was very, very good, very
Oh,
powerful
nice.
and effective.
Nice. I be sliding.
Yeah.
I love to catch energy. You know, a lot of people, I don't know how they work, but for me, um, I have to catch the energy and then start operating from it. I
Yeah.
can't just be like, I can't tug on anything and then just pull it to me. It's like double dutch. If you don't know what double dutch is, it's a game where you're turning two jump ropes and you have to know when to jump in, when that opening is just right so that you don't get your ankles tore up by the jump ropes, right? And that's kind of how I
Right.
do with energy, especially if I'm going to channel or something like that. I like to catch energy and just ride the wave.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really wow, it's really fascinating you brought that example up because of
Ah,
it's 222 for me. Um the I was just talking to somebody like literally yesterday and that same reference came up. And I haven't thought of anything to do with jump ropes for so long, at
mhm.
least me doing it. I mean, and that reference is uh, also there. What the example they were using for that, it was saying that that's what we're doing by being in the the multi-dimensionality that we are is kind of like
Yeah.
double
Mhm.
dutch, and then you use the songs so you keep
Yeah.
the rhythm. Remember
Oh,
the
yeah.
songs?
I mean,
I
just imagine being
not
able to
last
do
night.
that.
If someone says not last night,
Just imagine
what was
being able
that?
to do
Sorry, I
that
cut you
now.
off.
Like, I can't chew gum and walk.
I
We
know.
used to make up songs and they rhymed and everything. And we were singing these songs while we were jumping rope. There were so many things going on at one time. So if you could take yourself back to your child self and think about the stuff that you really were able to pull off when you were a kid. Um, Now your soul is trying to get back to that and tell you you can.
Mhm.
You've got all of these faculties that you're no longer using because we've been so programmed to repeatedly do specific things over and over again and just block everything out.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can do it.
yeah, yeah. It's it was easy, really.
Mhm.
I mean, when we were little, I don't think I remember first jumping in was scary. When you're really little, and it's like, and you hear the whip moving through the air, cutting the air, doing that noise. It's like, ah! But after a while, like that's all
Yep.
I ever wanted to
Yep.
do.
Once you get the hang of it, that's all she wrote. A lot of people, when they come to see me, or even when I do like live readings in the chat, and I'm telling somebody, "Oh, you got this gift," or you can do that. They don't necessarily know how to nurture their gifts, and
Yeah.
I tell them, "You got to just do it." When I first started reading, what I did was I did some research online. I literally typed in a search because, again, this is one of my gifts. I'm like, how to be a successful tarot reader, right? And I come
Mhm.
across this blog. I forgot whose it was, but it had these steps, these things that you should do if you want to be a successful tarot reader on YouTube. And one of the things, mind you, I had never did a tarot reading for anybody. Okay. But one of the tasks were
Mhm.
to find popular tarot readers and offer them a reading. You know how scary that was? But I did. I read for Alyssa
What?
Sharp and I read for the Peace Dealer. I kid you not. Those were my first reading.
Whoa.
I was happy they let me, and then I just kept reading. I kept practicing. You just kind of got to do it. It's natural. It's a
Yeah.
natural thing. And you got to use it and you got to just play around with it and keep doing it. Whatever gift that you're nervous about growing, you need to be able to practice it. Just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just do it. Yeah. That's elk medicine. It's that over and over again. Elk says uh, to do it. Just do it. It's almost like the Nike thing, and all the time. I think that every one of the things that I do regarding like who I've become or let myself be. I
Mhm.
guess it's let myself be. It's been just that where I've just had to be like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
jumping into the ocean, you know? I never having been in the water before.
Wow.
But you float. You float when you trust the universe and you know that when you put your foot out that there's gonna be a place
Mhm.
for your foot to land, then it flows through you in a much more natural way. That's the easiest way to connect to your channeling aspect, I find, is that when we just step out, that's when you stop trying to
Mhm.
drive,
Yep.
you know?
That's exactly how I do it.
Speaking of,
Mhm. Go ahead, love.
sorry, I cut you off again.
No,
I'm
you're
always
good.
cutting people off. I don't mean. All right. I was just wondering because everybody's different. This
Mhm.
is a fun question to ask. When did you realize that what you are doing in this way is channeling? When you're channeling, when did you realize that's what
Um,
that was?
I think it was once I started meditating because everything happened for me in a very I want to say the word real way so that people can relate. Spirituality happens to me
Mhm.
and I respond. It's not me trying to have a spiritual experience. Um, so
Right.
I've been doing massage therapy for like 20 years. Okay. So as I woke up to 11:11 and I started, researching things, I ran across, again, I was trying to get readings. First one was Vedic astrology. And I was like, well, that's not what I was looking for, but I'm glad I got it. Right. But I continued to try to find someone to get a reading, thinking that that's what I needed for the issue that I was having. Because there were some people that I would see that I would feel absolutely horrible afterwards, didn't know I was
Yeah.
empathic, right? And there were some people where I was okay, and
Right.
it was driving me nuts because I was like, why is it that I feel like crap after this person, but not that person? And then my next beautiful journey was a husband and wife here in Jacksonville. They moved, but I went to go and see the wife for a reading because she was a medium. Again, back then, I didn't know the difference between a medium, a psychic, astrologer. So I go to see her and she tells me, well,
Right.
you need to learn Reiki. And her husband teaches Reiki. So back in 2014 is when I had learned Reiki, but I also got a reading from his wife, and they were telling me, yeah, it's your empathy. You're not shielding yourself. You're not maintaining your energy. So that's what's going on here. So I got
Right.
like the whole package with them, and I didn't start meditating until I learned Reiki. Oh, but it was over after that because Once I started meditating, that's when all of the galactic stuff started happening. I don't
Right.
even know where I was going with this story, but that's how I got there. I don't
Right
even know
on.
what question I was answered.
We're talking about
Yeah.
channeling. You
So
answered it perfectly.
once I started meditating, I started automatic writing first. With my meditations,
Yeah.
I would because there were beings. My one of my main spirit guides looks like the Silver Surfer from Fantastic Four. Scared the crap out of me. Came into one of my self-healing
That's
sessions, and
awesome.
I was like, is this person okay? That was my first encounter with a being, right? And I was like asking source, is this okay? Like, I didn't want to be afraid. So even though I
Yeah.
ran the entity off the first time, I was determined. So the next time I did another Reiki session on myself, I said, okay, this time I'm going to let them stay and I'm going to ask the questions. And after that, that's when
Yeah.
I started the
Yeah.
automatic writing Andromeda. A lot of my automatic writing came from Andromeda. And the Arcturians came in when I
Interesting.
started doing Reiki on other people. And then the light language activations before I started speaking light language. I could see it and was doing all kinds of stuff
Yeah.
that way. So yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully that paints a picture.
Wow. Oh, so much. You almost perfect chronologically for
Mhm.
my path too. Like, I did find that singing, it wasn't on purpose ever at first anyway, was that, and that's also how light language comes in for me is, and typically when I'm either outside at night looking at the sky or
Mhm.
engaging with water, it's just one of those things that happens. Um, and that was the first time that I really, I mean, I channeled for people when I was on the airplane by myself
Ooh.
when I was 12, and I didn't even know what happened. I blacked out. Like, and I still do that. Blackout is what I mean is I
Mhm.
will forget that conversation. I'll just be like, I'll almost come to in a way, and people are like thanking me and stuff and thanking for the wisdom, and I just want to know
Yes.
what was said because it sounds like it would really be good for me too. You know?
Yes. I know what you're talking about.
But right, it's weird. It's cool though. I mean, then you're stepped all the
Mhm.
way out. Your ego's all the way to the side, so it's a
Oh
clean
yeah. And
channel.
y'all,
But
if I sometimes people bring up some of my older videos, and when I do go back and watch my videos, I can tell when certain things have happened. Like you can see people changing as they're
yeah,
channeling, especially when I'm doing a run through of all like 12 signs when I'm doing reading.
right.
And I
Yeah.
tend to talk back to the energy as if it's somebody that's right there telling me stuff so I can tell you, and I'll be like, really, we're gonna say that like that, you really want to say this, and I'll still deliver the message. But I have such a
Yeah.
personality with all of my higher aspects though, and I know it took a while, but I also figured out how different energies feel. It takes a certain level of trust in yourself, not anything around you or
Yeah.
outside of you. It's you that you got to trust to be able to allow yourself to
Yeah.
surrender enough to have these experiences. It's literally letting go of everything and not getting completely out of the mind. Um, Ooh, I wanna
Right.
share something.
Please.
This is a good type of, I don't even know if it's a meditation, this is an exercise because this is really how I got out of my mind. I know that sounds funny, but what you do is you go in like
No.
you're gonna meditate, right? But you don't have any intentions of anything happening, okay? And you do your breathing and you center yourself and you just feel your whole body, feel your whole being and just breathe and breathe, and you let yourself think the most ridiculous and horrible things without judging yourself for it. Because what happens is when those thoughts go by, when you're in meditation, if you give them too much attention, it turns into a movie and takes you away from your expandedness, right? So
Right.
if you are
Right.
brave enough to allow your brain to think anything it could possibly think and just sit there and let it do that, it's kind of like purging. It's kind of like, I guess, when you clear the cache in your computer, whatever. Because
Yeah.
after that, after you allow there's a point where after you've entertained yourself, that there's nothing. You realize that you've stopped thinking. But you have to, a lot of people are not willing to think the thoughts that they judge themselves about. Because you may, there could be
Right.
some pretty twisted stuff that pops up, but you've got to be indifferent about it. Okay, I'm thinking that, so what? I'm not doing it, so that's great. You know what I'm saying? I might be thinking
Right.
that, but I haven't done it, and I don't intend to do it, so I don't need to snowball with that. You know what I mean? And then you might even make yourself laugh. This kind of cultivates intimacy with yourself, because a lot of people are afraid of themselves. They have no idea. They are so scared of themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, just sit there, breathe, relax your body, and literally feel your whole being and let your brain do what it wants. You will find yourself in the all. Like you'll disappear. I'm
Right.
seeing something there.
Or reappear.
Hey, love. Okay, I
Oh,
see you. I've seen them change. I don't look. She's more tech savvy with this restream thing than I am.
I still don't know what I'm doing. I just figured out how to make I clicked a frame a
Hmm.
couple of weeks ago, and I just figured out how to get it off. It had like a UFO and stuff on it, so I was like, oh well, but I just couldn't.
Do we have a friend
There's a lot of
that? Oh, I see you. There's always. I love to learn how birds like look based off of how they sound. This is like organic learning.
yeah.
And when I'm in nature and I'm shooting videos, it never fails. Somebody always wants to get in on the action. So there's somebody just over
Yeah,
here getting it right now. I think they're done because I called them
that's
out.
awesome. You actually brought so I've then felt inclined to I should let people know how to get a hold of you, and I grabbed your link tree and just realized, is that
Yeah,
correct? Do you
Linktree
still use
slash
Linktree?
50 Essentials.
Okay.
And it's the
All
number
right, it's right
five
here, guys. It's
TH.
up on the
Thank you, love. Yeah, that's how you can get, and my
yeah.
link tree is the mainstay, because that's the thing that's gonna be consistent with all of the links to get to me. That's what I love about Linktree. Yep.
Yeah, it's linked. I've also noticed this too that I wanted to bring that up because I had already
Mhm.
written it in the comments. Um, regarding the animals, it's kind of like it's a little bit of a joke in my circles, you know, like especially with my family, they tease me because I'll be on the phone and so I'll go outside. Like that's just what I do. I don't talk on the phone in the house. I don't know why, but that's me. And I go outside, and as soon as I get out there, all these different
Mhm.
critters and animals, and everybody wants to come hang out, and I'm busy, and so I'll let them know. I'll give them attention, and I'll tell them I'm busy right now, and they tease me all the time. They like I'm the fairy princess or the princess from the Disney movies, but I'm like, get out of here. I'm not doing that exactly, but it's funny. And the reason I bring this story up is I find this to be super common, like
Yeah.
among us and our brothers and sisters. We just these these other creatures, beings just are
Yep.
drawn to your energy.
It's true. I think they could
Yeah.
smell it.
Yeah.
We smell like, look, in my mind, we smell like cotton candy mixed with pancakes or something, you know. If you let me write the book, that's what it's gonna be. You know, the fairy walked into the forest, and every creature came toward her because she smelled like cotton candy and pancakes. You know, yeah. I'm going to write a book one day when I'm bored enough. I don't like books like that, y'all. I wish I did, but I don't. Everybody's always trying to give me books. I don't like collecting things. If I want to read a book, I'll listen to it on Audible.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, something changed with me. Like I used to, I still read, but not like I did. Like I was this person. Like I would have
Mhm.
stacks of books, like in the order of next, and you know, collections and all this stuff. And now I do the same thing. I look for it like on YouTube sometimes too. You know, then it can play, you know, on in the background on my computer, and I don't know. I something shifted, and I just find this to be a really common report where some of us were real big readers and now just
Yeah.
listen instead. I wonder
I,
why
I
that
think part of it
is.
is the channeling thing, you know. Um, the Akashic records and the quantum field and all of that beautiful jazz. We have more access to it now,
Mhm.
right? And then we've got the internet, right? So, and then I know you
Yeah,
already know how you could be thinking something and then you pick up your phone and then all of a sudden there's an ad for it. There's a certain symbiosis to
right.
everything, whether it be organic or inorganic. And a lot of us are just kind of pulling information from anything, psychometry type vibes. You know, you could pick up a pine cone off the ground and get a whole story. We're expanding so much and coming into an awareness that we're all one to a degree where we're picking up all kinds of information in ways that we were not programmed to do, because we were programmed to read books, and then we graduated to watching the TV because books came before the TV. There was literature, and then now there's this television, and now there's these computers, and then it's the internet. Lord knows what's going to happen next. Okay, like I don't even
Right.
want to
Right.
imagine what the plan is for that program. However, our divine selves, we already know a lot of what there is to know. It's just that we tend to tap into it when it's time, you know? It's
Yeah.
really cool. So you don't really you're collecting books and information for fun to pass along to other people
Right.
who may not be at the awareness that you're at. That's all. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, that's when I was so for me, the energy that came through, that was really and interacting with me quite a bit and still is. I've ended up calling that energy Archangel Michael, but before I called it Bob. And I say that because at a younger age, I understood that I only cared what someone's name was if they cared. And these other
Nope.
energies don't actually use what we use like
Mhm.
for names, you know? And so I just lovingly gave him a nickname called Bob. And what was really interesting though is it was this archangel. I still, but before I realized that it was Archangel Michael, because I didn't know people talked about this stuff. Like I didn't, you know, this isn't something that I just
Mhm.
did on my own, you know. And anyway, I was really encouraged to start YouTube, and I just nonstop. And I'm always the person on the other side of the camera, man. I take pictures of
Mhm.
you all, not me, you know. And so I was a bunch of no's and middle fingers and stuff. And then it was explained to me that I needed to start recording now because I'm not going to be able to recapture these moments that will be useful for those who were at that
Yep.
moment later on. Isn't that
I feel the
crazy how
same
that
way about the
works?
old channel that I have. Is it eccentric? I left it there this time because the very first channel I deleted. But do you know, I was at the Cosmic Church of Truth the last couple of Sundays, and somebody came to that church because they saw one of my old videos, okay? Like This video was
Whoa.
shot way back in like 2016. And they saw it, and that led them
Wow.
to the Cosmic Church of Truth here in Jacksonville. Yeah.
Holy
So it
cow.
works, and it's going to continue to work. So yes, you are definitely doing something purposeful. Just so you know.
Right.
This is a big comment.
Wow. That's so yeah, Vegan Vixen is a regular. She comes around all I love Vegan Vixen. She's moving and she wants to let everybody know that she's not going to be around for a
Oh,
week or two because she's moving and at the new place there isn't any internet.
okay.
Um, but we're gonna miss you, Vegan Vixen. Sending you love and
Yes,
balancing energies
ease and
when you're
cooperation
eating.
to you.
Yes.
Oh man.
And then Brittany has a comment too that she said, "I'm completely opposite. I used to never read books. Now
Oh
I
yeah.
can't get out of books. I can't stop reading and
That's
learning."
your mode of operation right now. And there's definitely nothing
Yeah,
wrong with that. Um, either way, there's some people, they're meant to collect, and they're meant to have that how do you say, with the five fingers? That sensory. It's a sensory thing. Physically having them is a sensory thing. You're not just reading it. There's more happening there, you
yeah,
know? Um, but
right.
yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah. I definitely feel like I resonate with a lot of that. Like, I, what you were saying too is that, it just kind of feels, well, here's the thing. This
Mhm.
is what happens to me when I start to read is if it's very long, and that includes emails, unfortunately, and I need to find a way to like give an automatic response to some people that's like, hey, this is very big. Because once it gets past about a paragraph
Mhm.
or so, something clicks and I go into download mode. And though my eyes are still following the all of the words, I'm reading them in
Mhm.
whatever you would call reading, there's no retention because we're over here or over there or wherever we go. And it doesn't really work very well for me. So, but listening to it, it works with
Yeah.
both. It's like you're listening to a radio.
Yep.
It's different. Yeah. It's the most bizarre thing. But it looks like a lot of people have been doing like
Mhm.
Lavender Sky Panther. I stopped reading books a couple of years ago too, but I just ordered one after uh, a long break and heard it referenced on YouTube channel. It's called The
Ooh,
Healing Power of
nice.
UFOs.
And I
Yeah.
love to recommend books to people. It's so interesting. I'll recommend books, and I'm not even a reader like that, but
Yeah.
I will recommend a book.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I still think I agree. We know if you know the
That
resource,
part.
why wouldn't you
That
share it
part.
out?
There are some books I've only ever read one time. Like everybody always asks me, "What's your favorite book?" People Skills. People Skills is my favorite book, and that's the book I recommend the most to like everybody because it's literally about being able to talk to anybody in any situation. That's what that book helps you do. And I read it in massage therapy school. It's a very vulnerable, business that I'm in. People need to trust me.
Yeah.
And then, that extra layer of me being in their homes and the vulnerability, um, that's how I'm able to do that job. So I love that book.
Yeah. Man, I think about this all the time when I think about you is that, you know, touching so many people as an energy worker. And you said you've been doing this for like
Yeah, and
decades. Isn't that what you said
it's
earlier?
like a situationship. I'll break up with it, but I'll come back. I take breaks. And I think that's why, because a lot of people, they feel so bad for me. Look, they feel horrible. They feel so horrible, Mila, when they hear me say, "Oh, I'm in my car or I'm in my tent. I'm on purpose doing this." I have to have the
Right.
forest. I have to have the ocean. Like right now, everything is everywhere in my house. Everything is everywhere. My floor is half done. Guess what? I'm chilling in my backyard in my tent. It's great. It's
Right
fine.
on.
You know, I'm not at my backyard right now, though I'm at somebody else's house because I got today was a day. Okay. But I'm literally set up in my backyard and it feels great. The temperature is perfect. It's not super hot yet. Like I'm enjoying that. I don't feel inconvenienced because I can't utilize my home right this moment. Like I don't know if it's
Right.
part of it's the military. I will carry on really quickly when obstacles appear. I'll be like, okay, I'm good. I got, I'll turn a fork into a tool real quick. Like I don't know.
Right. You're like
I
MacGyver,
keep
right?
it moving. Like nothing's gonna stop me from being okay. I'm not gonna freak out and be like, oh, I can't, I can't do this. Like my pantry and I call it a tea station, but it's like this buffet type cabinet thing. It's in front of my refrigerator. Like everything's smashed up into my kitchen. So I was like, no, I'm gonna go ahead. This
Yeah.
is why I have an outdoor kitchen and another refrigerator outside. You know, I'm good. But some people they look at some of the things I do and they think it's absolute torture. I'm like, no, I need to be outside to
Yeah.
replenish from touching the millions of people that I touch. 'Cause some of these are chair massage events.
Wow.
Sometimes I will touch like 20 something people in a day. So yeah, Qigong is great.
Wow.
That's another reason why I do Qigong.
Wow.
I do a lot of energy movement clearing. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I can't fully imagine what that would be like to do regularly. I've gone to a couple of events where, you hug people and stuff, but they're all like
Yeah.
spiritual people too. So they're a lot more balanced. They're not like grabbing on to Phil down the
Yep.
road. You know what I mean? It's like,
It's literally shapeshifter vibes. I have to be a shapeshifter when I am stepping outside of the spiritual community. I am that person that
yeah,
knows that in order to be successful in some situations, you need to show up to places you don't belong. Yeah. Back home
yeah,
in San
yeah.
Antonio, where I'm from, I was part of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'm not Hispanic. I did that on
Right
purpose.
on.
You have to be brave to
Mhm.
do the things that are going to get you into the places that you're trying to go. So I have that
Right.
mentality. Place yourself in a position where you're disturbing the waters, but you're not being absolutely disruptive. Because if you
Right.
want people to know you exist and know what you do, you got to put yourself around the type of people that you want to be working with. And sometimes those people have
Yeah.
a lot of money and they're intimidating and they have a whole different life than you have. So it's worth paying the $100 to go to that um, benefit or that banquet or that thing. You know, you have to place yourself there
Yeah.
because there have been some amazing opportunities that I've gotten because I placed myself where most people would think I did not belong. But I mean, I'm not saying
Yeah.
everybody's capable of doing that. It is a gift to be able to interact with people that you don't know. I'm never alone when I travel because I pre-network through Meetup and things like that. And even if I find myself somewhere and I don't know anybody, I will immediately walk
Mhm.
up to somebody and say, "Hello, my name is," and that's all that you got to do. "Hello, my name is blah blah blah." That's it. And after
Right.
that, you're going to the after party. You going to the next networking event. Like it just kind of takes off. But again, um, that's just one of my strong suits. I'm not saying everybody should be able to do that. Some people need to come to you because that's how your energy works.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so fun trying to read these.
Definitely.
It,
Can you see this
it
one?
looks like it
I think
says
this is really
chili.
chilling
Oh,
on purpose. It's Elsa Dillon. She writes it in code. Like
uh-huh.
she breaks down words to like help us see like the root of it and stuff,
Chilling
the
person.
etymology of it.
Nice.
But yeah,
I was like, what?
she has a
That's
bunch of
awesome.
code. You've brought up so much that has resonated with the audience. I know you haven't been able to see
But
it, but you
and
can
I'm
really
so used
feel
to
the
tapping
audience really
into the audience.
appreciate
I
it.
saw a piece of cheese that was partially melted earlier, and I was like, what's going on with this sandwich? It was a piece of cheese. It looked like it was yellow cheese, but it wasn't melted all the way. It was partially melted, like if you had left it in a car or something, like you didn't intend to melt
Uh-huh.
it, but it was partially melted. And I was like, whose sandwich is this? But I didn't say anything. I just ignored it. Yeah.
That's awesome. My first thought it brings me to is my daughter. She's 10, so she's at the Diary of a Wimpy
Mm.
Kid phase, and there's a piece of cheese in the playground at recess that if you touch it, you got the cheese touch, and no one will touch you.
Oh, I miss hearing those stories from when mine were little. They're all taller than me now, so they're yeah, that's
Ah,
gone. I'm in the next phase of life.
yeah.
Look, I'm like, I don't even wanna look. I just sometimes I have to save myself. It's definitely different having adult and teenage children. It's different. Mhm.
Oh God,
And people are like, "How do you do it?
yeah.
How do you do
I
all of these things?" And I'm like, when I get in the shower, I call upon the heavens to get me through my day. I call upon every molecule of light that there is. I really speak fervently upon myself on a daily basis because anything can happen. Like the life that I live, anything can happen. I'm not walking out the door thinking, oh, I'm expecting everything to happen the same way it happens all the time. No, I already know better.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we're coming up on some real interesting shifts we're expecting. I mean, we all know it. We feel it in our bones, like our soul's bones, I guess is a better way to try to explain how it feels. And it's almost like we're not really getting ready. We're being
Yeah.
made ready. And so like do what you're doing, for instance, like you're going with the flow in the best way. Like I love your stories about like, okay,
Mhm.
well, I'm in a tent now, like and celebrating it, being in the joyful moment of each
Mhm.
experience that comes through so
Yep.
it can help shift you, like do you see any like what do you see? Like what do you feel is I don't know, is there anything we could say to anybody anticipating to this incoming whatever it is, and what do you
It's
think it's going to
it's
be
qu
like?
it's quite radiant, okay? It's bright.
Yeah.
And what happens when
Yeah.
you've been in the dark and you encounter something very bright? There's an adjustment in there and there's a little bit of discomfort, right? So, oh wow. Okay. What is that called? Is it bellows? There's a song or speech. What is it? The bellows roll? Bellows rolling. Anyway, what it looks like is like a fog rolling in, but the fog is
Yeah.
very thick and fluffy, like a real like cumulus cloud on the ground rolling in like a wave, like a tsunami, but it's very bright light instead. You see? And
Yeah.
it's not on a molecular level, it's heavier. So when a drop of water
Yeah.
falls on you and you've got pores and your skin kind of sucks it up, you know? It may not suck up the whole drop, but it's gonna
Yeah.
get some of that in your body. Anything like when you put lotion on, it sucks it up, right? Our body does that. So this
Yeah.
energy that's coming in is seeping into everything at a certain rate. It's seeping in, right? And it's going to cause
Yeah.
discomfort in the stage where it's seeping in. However, once you've got enough of it, because everybody's different, then it
Yeah.
starts to merge with your operating system, is what they're calling it, operating system, and you'll be able to function with it. It's like not knowing how to dance, right? And then somebody gets you and they're like, I'll teach you. And you step on their feet a few times, and then by the end of the song, you got it and you're proud of yourself. It's kind of what it looks like, what we're going through right now. So we're in the discomfort phase, but May, oh my gosh, like the second half of May, we're gonna be having those blissful, delicious moments. It's not gonna be the discomfort
Yeah.
phase anymore. You may have those God moments where you got light shooting out of your eyes and stuff, and you're like, yo, like, I got all this energy, I feel so big and so powerful. And that's when it's gonna definitely be time to
Yeah.
get out. Go, if you got an ocean, go to the ocean, go to a lake, go to the forest, whatever you got to do. That's when it's going to be time to ground that energy and disperse it, because that's what the energy's here for. We're to step down. There are some of us that are receiving
Right.
more of it than others, and we're supposed to step it down for people around us. You see, to make it easier for
Yeah.
them, because the discomfort that we're feeling, the reason why they don't seem to be, how do you say, affected by it, is because we're giving
Mm-hmm.
them like a watered down version of it in smaller doses. That's why they're not being racked with ascension symptoms like other people are, because we're literally stepping it down for them. But I think May is full
Yeah.
of prosperity, abundance, and deliciousness. Okay, all of the beautiful
Yeah. Yeah.
graces that Venus has, May. Because when I did those May readings, which was not an accident, it seemed like everybody was getting money. The pinnacles were falling. Okay. The pinnacles were falling. And I
Yeah.
think Venus energy is going to be prominent in the highest divine way, in a Venus, like in a Venus in Pisces way. That's the exalted form of love. That is the highest divine love right there. And I think that that's going to be,
Right.
um, like I said, the bliss energies and the big expanded divine energies are going to be there the second half of May, because some of us have to finish integrating.
Yeah. I resonate with that so much, and that being made. I keep getting I got this before, and I'm getting it. This is years ago, and it's come back. This reference that spirit's been giving me has to having to do with, like, it looks a lot like you're in school a semester early, like the summer, and like you're like, why am I here? And it's like, well, you're just getting ready to help the people who are going to be coming in the
Yep.
fall. So like you're still a student too, but you're also like, and this is the part that always gets my cheese, right? Cheese. Is that then fast forward a little bit, ding ding ding, the bells ring. It's school coming in for the fall, and all of a sudden now you're
Yep.
a teacher. And it's like, wait a minute, you said I
Yep.
was gonna be a student.
You hit it. You hit it right there. That's exactly what's happening, because why would anything slow down at this point? It doesn't even
Yeah,
divinely make sense for anything to slow down at this point. It's the quickening. We've been in it for a while.
yeah,
And each stage that we reach, each set of timelines that we jump, things are going to just get faster and faster. That's why it's so important to be
yeah,
empowered and to stand in your power, and take responsibility for the creation that you are creating while you're here in this physical body. Because if you're not coming from a place of power, your highest divine power, you're being smacked around. There's no in between.
Yeah.
It's forcing you to be
Yeah.
that.
Right. Right. And then strengthening that ability. It's like, it's the same idea of like, and I'm not saying that there aren't psychic attacks or anything like that, but I've found from my experience, the ones that the experiences I had that were unpleasant in an earlier phase of my life, what they were coming in to do was to show me that I had this
Yep.
spiritual muscle of stopping it, and like
Yes.
standing in your own power.
Yes. I don't care how many
Yeah.
people are upset with me or how many people think whatever they think about me. The bottom line is I can actually, can I do something with that energy? What can I do with that energy? Like,
Yeah.
what does focusing on that or even acknowledging that do for me in the now? Because if it doesn't
Yeah.
do anything, if I
Yeah.
can't create with it, then it honestly, it doesn't exist. And I'm the one that decides whether that even exists or not. You know,
Right.
there's drama. There's a lot of drama in the community, and you just gotta kind of let that be what it is, because that is part of their path of ascension as
Yeah.
well. They got to go through all of that and then finally just be tired enough to be like, okay, I'm done. None of this matters anymore type situation. Because believe me, I feel it now more than ever in my life, how responsible I am for every decision I make and everything that I create, every project that I start, everything I walk away from. When you claim that, you can never
Yeah.
really feel bad or super good about anything. That's where that spiritual indifference comes from. You're just being and moving from one experience to the next, and you understand that in this physical reality, that everything's temporary. You're eternal.
Yeah.
And it's not the other way around, because we've been programmed to think that we are temporary and that these things are eternal,
Right.
and we hold so tightly to them. You know,
Right.
it's okay. The bottom line is you're okay. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. No matter what happens, because
Yeah.
when you look back through your whole life, look at what you've gone through, look at what you've accomplished, and even in your failures, look at where you are now. You're okay. Even if you don't feel like you're okay, you're more okay than you were the last time that you weren't okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
if y'all could follow that. So it's okay to be a
Yeah.
mess. Express your discomfort. As long as you chop wood and carry your
Yeah.
water, it's okay. You don't have to like it,
Right.
you know. There's a beautiful plane
A lot of people who
coming over me.
right on. A lot of people that think that they're falling apart. This is really interesting because this goes along with what you were saying. A lot of people who think that they're falling apart are actually have already done so. It's like as if we were like one of those 3D puzzles, like the pieces have foam on them and they like look like a statue or something when you're done with it. And that's the visual I get for it, and that we were all needed to fall completely apart so we can put ourselves back
Hmm.
together correctly. And people don't seem to notice the falling apart part of it until after you're already
Yeah.
building yourself back up again. And that's where we are now. And so if you're noticing it, it's a good thing. It means, hey, cool, now you're building yourself back up. And so do that with intention by using your intention. a lot of this is coming in that's being done for us. But if you understand it in the way that it works, it's really, I guess, like your higher self who's doing it. So you're still
Mhm.
doing it, like just let yourself enjoy the moments that you're in and flow.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
You're going to be,
And I've been getting some magnificent breezes over here. So every now and again, I'm over here trying to look natural, but I'm sitting here like, oh my God, this feels so good. Like every time I get a nice breeze, I'm like, ah.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, this is such a great conversation. We
Yeah,
can keep
I'm
going
good.
if you want,
My
but we can also
battery's
wrap it up.
good.
If you want.
You know, I'm not baking in the sun. I'm under a tree. Temperature's different too.
Nice.
That's why I love nature trails. It's like natural air conditioning.
Yeah. Oh, and you can, and where you are connected, at least the tree behind you, you're
Hmm.
sitting on that
Yep.
tree. Those roots go all the way to where you are. So you're
Hmm.
getting the vibration.
It's nice. It's
That's
real
awesome.
nice. I love living in North Florida because it's literally like a zoo. I've never seen so many different animals in my life. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been having that experience too. I come here from Washington State, not the Seattle side. We were inland. We were next to the mountains and stuff. So we like got like 120 degrees on,
Mhm.
1 or 2 days a year. But then it would also get down to like 20 below in the wintertime and get like 4 feet of snow sometimes. You know, like there were winters where my daughter couldn't go outside to play because the snow was taller than her. So I had to shovel like labyrinth for her to run around.
Oh.
But coming down here, like there's stuff up there. I guess I don't know. Maybe just because I was used to it. But coming down here, it's like there's alligators here. There's possums. There's all kind. My daughter had a tarantula in her bedroom.
Woo!
It just kind of came on in and said, hey, "I'm going to hang out in here." She was so calm about it. Like she's like, "By the way, I was waiting for you to get done with your show. There's a tarantula in my room, just so you know."
That's what I'm talking about. I've never seen so many lizards, but
Yeah,
I appreciate the amount of lizards that Florida has because that's what keeps the bugs under control.
yeah.
So I'm like, yes, be here, do your thing,
Well,
because some of the bugs are wild.
you know what lizard is, right? Well, so everybody knows about this about me, but
Hmm.
I'm all about the medicine cards and Native American totem stuff. And a lizard, it's about speaking your truth. In fact, the at the end of it, the precise quote is, lizard says, "Speak your truth and be liberated."
I could see that
Yeah,
because they're pretty free. Okay,
right.
you do, I have to ask when I come home sometimes and there's a lizard on my door. I have to ask to be able to go in my house, like,
Yeah.
Mr. Lizard, do you mind? I just want to go inside, but I don't want you inside because you're not going to survive in there. That's how I am with the lizard.
Yeah, you can hang out
It
out
looked
here.
like somebody said something about feeling like they're getting younger even though they're 70.
Yeah, Joyce. Here it is.
Yeah, I resonate with that. In some days I don't, but some days I do. Um,
Yeah.
that pulling and stretching. But I do feel like some people, I feel like eventually everybody is going to feel like that because we're supposed to eventually get to the point to where we're living longer,
Yep.
you know? So
Yeah.
I can definitely see how we're getting moments and glimpses of that. And that's a good thing, you know?
Yeah. I'm getting that too. I have been getting it for a while, all the way. Oh, so there's this whole thing. Just speaking of the same line, because a lot of people have been noticing them as what we're calling is de-aging, like where there's real things, where for example, one of the most common phenomenons that I've been talking with a variety of women about is uh, women who have gone through menopause and now are healthy. There's nothing wrong, yet they're having their regular flow again. I mean,
I hope
well
that's the case
into
for somebody I know that's watching this video. I hope that that is the case. But at the same time, I know you're probably going to be so irritated by that. Go
Yeah, most of them are kind of annoyed when they're talking to me about it because they're like, I was so glad to get rid of
Yeah.
that.
Like just imagine having that mental note in your head like, okay, that's over with. And then
Yeah,
it comes back. Are you kidding me?
right,
What? We're
right,
not trying to have, I call them Bible babies. We're not trying to have Bible babies.
right. Yeah, potentially being pregnant at 85. You
Yeah,
know,
like
like,
no.
what kind of what does that imply? What life would that be? What would that be like? I mean,
I don't
would they want that?
and I don't even want to begin to know the purpose of it either. You
Yeah,
know, I feel like the universe operates off of necessity. So why
right,
would it be necessary for that to come back?
right. Well, I can say this is that there's some magic behind that replenishing that process that in the native and that not just Native American but like indigenous people of like all over the world. It's like just looked up, we'd been on for an hour 11 minutes and 11 seconds, just by the way. I just happened to notice
There
that.
was
Yeah, dude, ones are all over the place. It's crazy. Ones and threes, but like I totally lost what I was talking about because the ones really drew my attention.
Native American
Oh
stuff.
yeah, yeah, and there's a lot of things that are written in these different sacred texts and just were oral tradition kept stuff that later on got documented,
Mhm.
and having to do with the honoring of that, ability to uh, fully heal and recalibrate oneself in a 28-day window, and talking about how it's like sacred medicine that um,
Mhm.
in fact a lot of the male uh, members of the villages and stuff would almost not quite but almost express some type of jealousy, like
Mhm.
envy of some, not in a way that we expect that word to mean, but just like what a gift to be able
Yeah.
to fully become a whole different person in such a short time.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
still.
we are quite interesting. I tell you that. We got a lot going on. It's a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
It, it, uh,
Kelly has, oh, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Go ahead.
Kelly has a comment. I was just really, I saw her come in. Community feels so nice. Was lonely today, but feels so much better listening to you guys. Thank you for
Oh,
your
thank
comment,
you,
Kelly.
love. I appreciate it. That's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what I restarted another meetup group, so we're gonna start doing our little potlucks. That's why, not everybody can be here in Jacksonville, but I do travel. But I like to create a safe space where everybody is welcome.
Yeah.
And usually there's food involved. And we just go, you know. Everybody shows up, we greet each other, we get our food, and we all it takes is for somebody to say, instead of did you see the game on Saturday, it's like, yo, what do you think about these energies? After that, we're gone.
Right.
We get to talking, and all of the magic just happens because
Yeah.
all we need to do is come together. When
Yeah.
light workers and star seeds and beautiful galactic beings and angelic beings come together here in the flesh, the ones that are here and aware,
Yeah.
it's a huge thing. It's a big epicenter of light gathered at, and we're charging each other up, and it's expanding outward so far. It's a thing to come together. There's a purpose to it.
Mhm. community. The
Mhm.
definition of community is communication and unity.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, so if you can find those who talk like you do, that's all that matters, right? And
Yep.
eventually, everybody talks the same in the end. But like you said, I've had those experiences around here. It's really fun. Just like you said, it's crazy where you're like, someone said to me, and a few of my friends, she said, um, there's something that's happening that people are calling ascension symptoms. I don't know if you know. And she started to try to explain it. And I was like, and like all of us were like, yeah. And it's just like you found your lost friend in the wild, you know?
Honestly, I don't live for those moments because you're not really sure where they are. So I'm
Yeah.
still careful when they say keywords. That's what I call it. I call it, oh, they're saying keywords. So let's just watch and see what happens first.
Yeah.
We can't really rabbit hole until we know for sure how far they can go. You know
You
what
want
I'm
to take
saying?
them out, get them therapy.
This is gonna be funny. All of y'all are gonna laugh because the church that I go to is metaphysical. Everybody's welcome. All beliefs are welcome. So I leave and I come back every now and again because I travel and things like that. But we have our church jokester. Okay, he's hilarious and he's always got a punchline every 5 seconds. Okay, and he's telling someone he's trying to explain who I am to someone else, but I'm sitting there and I know there's a plane right over me, so just bear with me. I'm sitting there listening to him tell the story of who I am. Okay. And
Yeah.
he's talking about the little meetups that I used to do. And he says, out of nowhere, and it's hilarious. He's like, yeah, when I met her, you should have seen her. You should have seen what she was doing because she was doing a reading and some guy was coming for her. So she just threw some rice out and it's like, okay, here. You want a reading? Here, I'm gonna do a reading. She just threw some rice in, and she just read him and was like, done. And then he's like, yeah, and another time she threw me off because she just all of a sudden started talking about casual sex. I said, that's what we do if I meet up. So we're all adults. Like, we're going to talk about every and anything because
Yeah.
spirituality is not separate from everything else, it's in everything. So, whatever comes up, comes up. We should
Yeah.
be able to talk about it. But yeah, that was him explaining me to
That's so,
somebody else. And I was like, okay.
what a unique little thing to be able to sit in on.
You never know what you're gonna get. And I like it that way.
Yeah.
You got to get comfortable with expressing yourself differently
Yeah.
because we were so programmed to be one way all the time, and they call that what, loyalty and consistency and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, no, I can be me and be all of the things and still be me. I don't have to act a certain way for you to know that you're dealing with me, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all of these things. I'm whatever is required. But that's how I feel like that's how a lot of the goddesses and gods um expressed themselves in ancient times. When you listen to the stories, they were different things,
Yeah.
even though they were them, especially in the Hindu stories, like, gosh, I don't even remember how many different aspects of Vishnu there are. There's a lot,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, just do it. Don't be scared.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, and I get that a lot from people too. Like, I've been on different shows before, and that's usually what they'll say is, we never know what's going to come out of her mouth. So, and it's like, I don't invest a lot in censoring myself. I'll be polite. If someone's really offended by a specific string of words, I'll find different. I got a good thesaurus going on. It's like a little Rolodex in my brain. But like, those old things. I don't know if anybody knows what a Rolodex is anymore, actually.
That part, but I do.
But other than that, I mean, whatever's going on, it's coming out.
Yep.
And there's no point in trying to posture, edit, and then the thing is that when we edit, omit, when I do, then the people who are even slightly having, they're at least a little bit empathic, or like just learning to be empathic, or their ability with it, they detect that as a lie. Because
Yep.
I feel like I'm lying. And so therefore they feel like I'm lying. I don't want to feel like a liar. So I'm just going to tell you what I'm thinking about. If it's masturbation, that's what I'm talking about right now.
That part, because I mean, I say what I see. I'm predominantly clairvoyant, so there's a lot of stuff that it's not really easy to explain. So I just take a concept that I know and I try to get it across.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I see you with that 111.
Yeah.
That's all I see, though. My eyes are going to cross if I try to read that.
You had a question. Here it is. Lavender Sky Panther says, have you seen that agamas up there, Josie? Big, fast lizards.
Big, fast lizards. Do they look like tree lizards? Because I've seen one that's kind of big that looks like a tree lizard. Maybe she's talking about iguanas from South Florida.
She's in Florida too, I think. I think she's lower.
I've seen them too. Because I camped in South Florida, and they are big. I'm glad that I didn't see one like run really fast though, because I would have ran really fast as well.
Oh, you guys get the ones that they have the little hood and they're like walking on their back legs and running?
Oh, I don't know. No. I no.
Those look so cute.
What do they call those? I forgot. But I remember seeing a lot of it like in the little National Geographic and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not ready. The lizards in Africa were wild. Their claws were so long. And
you went to Africa?
Yeah. I've been to Africa twice, to Ghana twice.
What was that like? Like, did you see any hippos?
No. It's not how people think it is. A lot of people think that Africa is kind of like the United States. It's not set up that way. Those are all countries. They're not states. You can't just freely roam like that. And it takes forever to do anything there. Okay, like I can't make up a day where I'm gonna go to the store and then go do like 3 other things in one day. That's not happening there. Not at all. Everything's different and slow, very slow. It's like the 70s there, kind of.
Cool
to me. So yeah, you got to be really present. Definitely a different environment, different world. Functions very differently. My big takeaway from visiting Africa is that I'm not African. I might have, African DNA, but I'm definitely not African.
Right.
Nope.
Don't drop me off in Sweden anytime either. I mean, like, like I wouldn't mind going visiting, but I would so be out of my element. Like, my grandma came here when she was 11, fleeing persecution of being a witch, actually. Yeah.
Wow. You got some history.
Yeah, my whole family. And then the other side too, there's a bunch of, it's kind of funny how that works, where you end up, and then I didn't get activated till I had my near-death experience when I was 4. And all of a sudden I had all these imaginary friends that turned out they were souls.
Wow. I still don't remember whether I had imaginary friends or not when I was younger, but I do remember being outside, like I was one of those kids that could go outside and play, that I didn't need anybody else. I'd be
Yeah,
fine just by myself, you know.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got like that. Oh, I came from a family of 10 kids. So I was always like, but they were always wanted to play like games that just I didn't resonate with anything they wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like they wanted to do weird stuff. Like I just wanted to be like regular and do something normal. I don't know.
Mhm.
I used to get in a lot of trouble for flipping things over with my mind. I would get in trouble. My older siblings had to like tell my dad, and so he could come beat me up, make me stop.
See? See, that's why, sometimes it's like the movies.
Yeah,
There are people like us out there that are just like in the movies. You you don't think these things are happening. They're
yeah,
happening. It's real and it scares the shit out of people. It's great.
yeah.
Now it's great that it's now that I'm an adult.
Right, right.
That I don't think I've told a lot of people this, and I don't even remember how old I was. And if mom's still watching, maybe she can corroborate this. But I was having this thought while I was driving to this location that I'm at now, because I have Mars in my first house.
Huh.
And I thought about all of the Mars related stuff, because the first house is your physical body, especially your head, right?
Yeah,
And I had this thought like, man, so all of the surgeries, all of the accidents I've ever had in my life was probably this Mars placement that I've got. And I said, is that why I drank gasoline when I was like 3?
huh.
Mars is also that too. You know what I'm saying? Like, of
Right.
all things, I drank gasoline. Okay. And
Wow.
all I remember from that experience, because I was so young, was the story that other people gave me. But
Right.
my own personal experience was I just felt like I was in the hospital forever. Like I
Mm.
remember the big old thing, you know how when they give you an IV, but they have to make sure you don't mess with it. So it's this whole board on your arm. I remember the nurse that used to read to me in a rocking chair, and I remember the little play place in the hospital, and being highly upset whenever family would come visit me and I couldn't leave. That's all I remember. So I had to get the backstory as to why I was there in the first place. So talk about freaking near death experiences. I don't know what. It, yeah, I drank gasoline when I was a toddler.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, I feel like every one of us has some kind of story. Yours is a little bit more obvious than a lot of us. Like, like where your mom says, you were just very curious and maybe just simply thirsty and didn't know. Thank God you survived.
Hmm.
I love you. Oh.
Oh, I love you too. Honey bunches of oats.
But that gives you some type of activation. And the fact that it's really fascinating to me because usually hey, now it's 333. There's so many synchronicities. It's ones and threes. I just told you that. And then I saw
Hmm.
the ones and then saw the threes. Um,
Yep.
is between about birth, sometimes those activations, those NDEs that happen are in utero too. So if you
Hmm.
don't, like ask your mom if she's around, for anybody listening, if you don't have something between 1 and 7, usually the ages of, birth and 7, something happens. Usually it's closer to around 5, but it goes in that whole window there. And if you don't have one, I'll bet there was something in that happened during birth.
Hmm.
Like if you ask your mom, or yeah, your heart stopped, or something crazy happened. It was a 46-hour labor, or something like that. We
Hmm.
and I don't know what it is, but I know that when that happens, there's like some extra light that happens
Yeah.
inside of you.
Telling you.
Yeah.
I totally believe that now, but in my early 20s, you couldn't have
Right.
told me that. It wouldn't have registered.
Right. 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 You're like, this lady's crazy.
Mhm. Yep. There, I went
Go
a
get the
lot of my
Kool-Aid.
life with people calling me crazy, and I allowed it because I didn't know what was going on. It literally, and in the comment, y'all tell me who woke up to the 1111 angel number. I want to know who else, because when I hear people's awakening stories,
Yeah.
they don't say that they woke up to 1111. I literally woke up to 1111. I started seeing it, and then I googled why am I seeing it, and then that's all she wrote.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't it wasn't some other whole storyline with other people involved there. It was 1111, and then I was like, oh, this is what that means. It like everything took off from there. Literally, who else woke up to 1111? Specifically that angel number. That's what I
Well,
want to know.
I can actually say I share that in a lot of so we people try to say that you woke up at this time and that was
Mhm.
your awakening. The end, you no more awakening. And
No,
that's in
no.
my opinion a bunch of bullshit. Like you got so
Yeah.
many awakenings, and like through high school I kept smashing that snooze button, Like I was like, no,
Mhm.
it's not real. It's not real. I'm going to do 3D right now, you
Yep.
know? And but it was 11/11, and it was really crazy because so my little brother who the year he turned 25 and the year on the 25th and I turned 27 on the 27th, that year he took his life. And um he did it right like moments before November 11th. It was November 10th. But he always, like when he had the pagers, his number was 1111 until he passed, and then it was my number. But like this 1111 was everywhere. And why is that
Wow.
significant about my brother, too? Is that he was like the spiritual one. Like he was the one that I would go to for
Mm.
guidance, like he was. It's funny actually connecting with him as the personality of who he, because, they come back as they were, and when he
Mhm.
comes back as he was, he's like a little kid. I saw him to be so wise back then. But um and I couldn't look at the clock without it being 11:11. It was everywhere, everywhere, all the time. And it was just uh, constantly, and it stopped me from being able to like, because I was still trying to do the social work life and like take
Mhm.
all the clients to go get their pills and their shots and all that crap. That was my job. And that was just, it stopped. All of that just fell apart. I was in advanced school and I stopped. I left school. I left college, and like all of this stuff, it had to do with specifically 11:11. It became other synchronicities,
Mhm.
but and you're getting a bunch of them too here. You got one other one. Lavender Sky Panther says yes. 11:11 was my first numbers. Kenny says
Mhm.
I started seeing 11s in 2004 ish. Then 111. I woke up, says Kelly, to 222, becoming 111. It's a
Nice.
super common story, I think.
Yeah, and when I say woke up to, I don't mean that you didn't have spiritual experiences before.
Right, right.
I mean that you were consciously seeking once you started seeing these angel numbers. That was the moment where you started to consciously seek,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
because my body went through some ascension symptoms well before my mind caught up to what was happening.
yeah,
I
yeah,
had to look back and say, oh snap, my body started getting these DNA activations well before I started consciously seeking.
right, right. And it's 44 people here right now, too, by the way. Just saying.
The
Yeah,
numbers are popping.
I feel like it's a whole bunch of stuff. It's like a sandbox full of toys, and some of them
Mhm.
are like under the sand, and some of them are like kind of peeking out of it. Some you don't even know it's there until you step on it, but it's all in there, and it's
Yep.
you know. there's other kids that want to come play with the same toy that you're playing with. And sometimes it's fun to play with them. And sometimes you're like, I play with that long enough. I'm out of here. Like
That part.
yeah. And
It,
to
it
be
is.
okay with it. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and you do have your moments. There are some people who have their moments where they will start to seek and then they'll pull back.
Yeah.
And then they'll go forward again with seeking. Um, and a lot of that happens because they still have something to lose.
Yeah.
That's why that pullback happened. For me, I started seeing 1111 as I was also losing everything that I built.
Right. Yes.
Everything was crumbling. So
That.
I had nothing to lose. I was able to take off from that point
Yeah.
and not look back. So,
Yeah.
yep, that part. Oh,
I think
I'm looking at these comments like that's a big one.
so. Lavender Sky Panther. She says maybe gasoline is the go-to drink in the place /
Tell it.
galaxy you dropped in from. I remember really smelling in the gasoline as a little kid when parents would fill up the car. Yeah,
I used to like the smell. I did.
yeah. What do you think about the smell of skunks? I'm curious now that you said that.
Sometimes it can actually, even though it stinks, there's floral in there somewhere. There's like flower type scent. Motorcycle. There's like a flower type scent inside of all of that.
Yeah,
It's like spicy and floral and a little sour.
right.
That's what I think about skunks.
I just think it's really interesting because you hear all the time. It's like you either like the smell of gasoline or skunk. Like I've been hearing that my whole life, and like I used to be somebody who really liked the smell of gasoline, but then I left the city and have spent less and less time in like larger areas. And I've not only have I found that I enjoy the smell of skunk, but I've been having skunk friends coming in and hanging out with me. Like not only when I was living in Washington, but now I had a skunk coming here too. And
Oh.
they don't smell like skunks when they come in though. They have to
Mm.
where they're sprayed at, right? Like so it'll come in and like it came up and like its furry tail was so soft and it just whisked up against my leg sitting here in front of the computer. I don't know how it got in the house. like like what the freak. So it probably was when I was like bringing some stuff in and it just kind of snuck in, but who knows how long it had been in here. Anyway, they're like little like gym going, like because they're really muscular cats.
Oh, okay.
How muscular cats with extra soft fur. But I've been having these skunks come around for a while. They'll growl at people when they're like in a bad energy, but they won't spray them. They'll like and lunge at them and stuff. It's crazy. But
Wow.
anyway,
I wonder what the meaning is. I gotta look that up for skunk.
self-respect.
Self-respect.
It's reputation and self-respect.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
which makes a
Wow.
lot of sense. So here's the follow-up, by the way, for your lizard. Do you mind if I keep talking for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Lavender Sky Panther. She says remember the lizards before that she had mentioned? They
Mm-hmm.
are bigger, not iguanas. They run across parking lots, can be in trees or on rooftops for sleeping. Pronounced agamas. Agamas.
Oh, I'm
Um,
gonna have to look that up because even if I did see one, I wouldn't know the name of it. But I don't think I've seen any type bigger than an iguana, so I don't think I've seen one.
yeah. I guess she's like in the Miami area. They spread across Miami like crazy over the last decade, showing
Yeah,
up
and
in
I'm from
2015.
I'm up here north Florida.
Right. That's really cool. 11/11 was significant to my sobriety, says Claire. Wow, that's really cool.
Nice. That is awesome.
And your mom says my birthday is 111.
Yeah. I'm telling you, those ones are quite significant. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is.
I've got when I first started happening to me back and I really started paying attention to it. This was, in 2002 is when I really started really looking and asking, was
Mhm.
that it was the original numbers. The ones were the first numbers of all.
Oh yeah, because this reality that we're in, whatever the matrix, whatever you want to call it, it's ones and zeros.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And I read that comment just now. Um, it's the first house that represents your body for whoever that was about the Mars placement thing.
Kenny.
That's what I meant earlier. Anytime a planet transits your first house, you're gonna
Mhm.
physically feel it. So you've got the parts of the body that the planet itself rules, and then you've got the actual first house that is talking about the body. So like if Mars is in your first house, like if it's transiting, you will be more inclined to get accidents and things like that, and especially headaches too, because Mars rules the head. The planet rules the head, and then the first house rules the body, you know? So
Right.
that's how that's configured.
Interesting. She says that she's had 7+ head injuries when Mars is in Gemini.
But what house is it in?
Right. If she can tell us, we'll follow up on that.
Yeah, so
That's a cool
so if
comment.
if Neptune was transiting your first house, you'd have feet issues.
Right.
You
Right.
see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Neptune Pisces correlation, even though Jupiter in Vedic astrology, it
Mhm.
usually stops at Jupiter. They don't deal with the outer planets.
Okay.
But I always accommodate a little bit of the Western still in there. I'll keep those outer planets when I'm going through the chart.
Right. I find the outer planets to be the most uh, fascinating because my daughter, she's one of those kids that she just knew stuff, and
Mhm.
she just knows things about planets, and like I haven't taught her this stuff. Like I don't know half of what she knows, but the number of exoplanets that she's aware of and understands, and when she tells us that there are actually 12 planets in our solar system, that there's
Wow.
12. And so you got Ceres, Maki, and these different planets that they have classified as dwarf planets so that we don't pay much attention to it.
Mhm.
And they really do have a lot of impact on, just like everything else does.
Mhm.
Oh, hey, Kenny found the answer. Seventh house.
Oh, okay. So that's your descendant. So it could still affect you because it's on the same axis. It's right across from your first house.
Right on. So look how fast she could do that, guys. Like, if you are interested, like, I want to put this out again. Check this out. This is how I get a hold of her. This is Josie's link tree. She's doing this Patreon thing right now. I know I'm talking about you with your
Yeah,
friends.
our next Qigong class, and like I said, it's free. Our next Qigong class is the 28th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Right on.
April 28th. Yeah,
Cool.
that's
And
the next thing.
so, though I understand it, I'm going to ask you a question as if I don't understand. Um, how would you describe what Qigong is to somebody?
I would describe
It's all good.
I would describe Qigong as the internal process of Tai Chi. Okay. You can have Tai Chi, like you wait, because I say this often and then I mess it up. Okay. You can have Qigong without Tai Chi, but you can't have Tai Chi without Qigong.
Okay.
It's the focus is on the internal organs, stimulating the internal organs and fortifying your aura.
Yeah.
So the Qigong movements correlate to different organs in your body. Okay, that's the process of Qigong, and it's a Chinese energy modality. It can be the exercise like you see with the people moving, but it's also an energy healing modality where you can do it to a person as
like
well.
pressure points, like almost like acupuncture,
Yeah, it's more like a
reflexology.
rough Reiki. It's like
Oh,
rough Reiki,
how would you
because
combine those two
what you're
words?
doing is you're
Reiki.
building energy, and then you're blasting it into person.
Mm,
You know
mhm.
what I'm saying? Like it's definitely a more dynamic energy exchange. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I
But
like
it
that.
feels amazing. You gotta definitely try it once at least, because the satisfaction I get out of teaching a Qigong class is how the person feels at the end of the class.
Yeah,
I check in halfway through. I make sure everybody hydrates halfway through, and I make people aware of how they were breathing before and how they're breathing after, how their energy felt before and how their energy feels afterwards. And then for some people, depending on where they are and how stagnant energy may be, they may feel like they straight up did a whole like physical workout, even though we're not moving fast. You can
right.
sweat. You're definitely going to experience body temperature changes. You're definitely going to experience the tingles in your hands and feet, and your head may feel like it's on fire. But once you get through all of the movements, everything will even out.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
saying.
It's it's really I find it to be super powerful healing. Like we don't always realize that a lot of what we're struggling with or what feels like discomfort in our body is
Hmm.
like stuck energy that just needs to get out or
Exactly.
right.
Exactly. That part. Are you able to stand up, or do you have to sit down, Mila?
I have to sit down. This all
You stay seated and I'm going to stand up, okay?
right.
And whoever can stand up. Because this is what we're doing now.
Right on.
It's really simple. I'm just going to show you one movement, and I can barely see myself, but I think I'm in the frame.
You're perfect.
You see me?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So we're going to stand with our feet hip distance apart, and I'm going to give you a little more time to stand up for those who want to stand up. My knees are loose. I never lock my knees during Qigong class at all. You don't want to pass out. So you just always keep your knees slightly bent to where your thighs are activated, right?
Yep.
You're just going to stand up, and your feet are hip distance apart. And this is the simple movement that we do before we start a series. And it's called gathering energy from the universe, because I don't remember any of the Chinese words. Okay.
That's okay.
So my feet are hip distance apart. My knees are loose. My thighs are activated, holding me up nice and strong, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to inhale through my nose. And as I inhale through my nose, my stomach is going to come out. So I'm inhaling and exhaling, bringing my belly button back toward my spine. So I'm inhaling through my nose, exhaling through my mouth. And all the movement is in my stomach only, not in my shoulders, not in my chest. This is diaphragmatic breathing. Okay, so we're going to inhale through our nose and exhale through your mouth. That's the way you're going to breathe when you do this movement. And you can do this anytime that you need to just clear your energy real quick, get centered real quick. So you can step out of your office or wherever you're working, and you can do like however many of these as you want. We're just going to do 3 right now. Okay. So hopefully you're ready. And on an inhale, I want you to raise your arms up. So we're going to inhale up. And when you exhale, I want you to make a ball in front of you and exhale out your mouth, bringing it down. And it's that easy. So we're going to inhale up. And then exhale down. And this is just gathering energy from the universe. And that's it. That's all there is to that movement. You can do it as many times as you need to calm down if somebody pissed you off, to refresh your energy, to move stagnant energy. It's a good, quick fix in any situation. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your
Yep.
demonstration.
Something you can feel.
You guide these classes, these the healings
Yep.
like regularly. Like, so the one you're doing, you said it's on the 25th or 28th?
The 28th. So
Ooh,
it's in 3 days.
There's conjunctions going on and stuff.
Yep. We'll be doing the 5-element Qigong series on the 28th. That's the one that I teach. I have yet to get to a point to where I feel like I can teach anybody the 8 brocades, because I just need people to show me that they can do the 5 elements.
Right,
Or
right.
the 8 brocades, now that's definitely some exercise. It's a lot of squatting. So
Right.
different.
That's the one I tend to do. If there's like, I always want to be sure that my knees will go in front of my feet when I bend down. You know, that's the one of the big important ones about parts about that. And after I've prepared my stance that way, like I end up doing more than I'm supposed than is guided or that is in the, you know, pre-written script of it. But just starting it and you'll feel the flow where the flow needs to, and being able to collect the energy like that. It's so cool. You can feel it.
You can definitely feel it. One thing that I'm confident about is being able to feel your Qigong practice.
Yeah.
Like, you're never going to show up to a class and be like, oh, nothing happened.
Right.
Nope, not at all.
Right. And that's it. You said 3 p.m. Eastern, right?
Yeah, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on
So that'd be like
April
noon.
28th.
Right. So that's like noon for Pacific. That's 9 p.m. UK. Like there's a lot of different time zones that would be able to come to something like that. And
That's why I choose 3 p.m.
Right.
Because I be trying to get my West Coast peeps.
Right. And if you are interested, this is the link tree for Josie here. That's on the comments I just pulled up on the screen. And also this will send you to there's a link in within it that brings you to Patreon too. Is that right?
Yeah. Under any of my YouTube videos in the description, you should see the Patreon link. And I feel like somebody's trying to like rush me off the stage. The cicada is now singing.
I hear it a little bit. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to wrap it up anyway because I am thirsty.
I get it. We've been on for 2 hours almost anyway. This was such an awesome conversation. Oh, but before we go, your mom said something. I remember putting a star on it because I wanted to grab it for you. Where did it go? Oh, she mentioned she says, I remember your reading about October 22nd when you answered Pamela's question. And the fact that she mentioned it kind of significant. Would you like to end our conversation with this?
Yeah, that was wild. I actually need to go back and listen to it. I know I said something.
Yeah.
But I don't remember. I just know that I told everybody, you gotta go. There's a collective message. You gotta go listen to that message.
Yeah.
It was big. I just don't. Oh, I think that there is something that's gonna happen, like public, like a big thing.
Yeah.
Like, where a lot of people are going to know about it, and it's going to, you know, actually affect a lot of people. And that basically that was going to be like a, how do you say, a springboard
Right.
point off of there. Like, there's a purpose to whatever this big event that's going to happen around October 22nd. There's
Okay.
a purpose for it. And there's this renewal energy coming on the heels of that.
Right.
And all I hear is it needed to be done. So no matter who feels any kind of way about it, it needed to be done.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line. You could be mad about it. You could be happy about it. Either way it goes, whatever it is, this big thing, it was necessary.
Yeah.
It's definitely, I really do feel like, I don't think it's a one event though.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think it's one event, and then these things happen because of that event.
Yeah.
And then there's this renewal energy. There's this, because it's kind of like if something's being phased out and then something new is being, like, it's being replaced by something.
Yeah.
But the how do you say, the situation had to be created in order for that to happen.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I 100% get what you're saying. I'm sure everybody else does too. Like it's a series of things, and it's October 22nd if you'd like to know. Like there's
Mhm.
that's some really important stuff about this particular day that I've been getting to, and it is just like what you said. Usually there's 3 waves of every one of
Mhm.
these things that you're talking about. And for those of you who want to hear the full message, because Josie just demonstrated what we were talking about earlier, is we have an idea, but when you're in channeling state, your ego steps aside far enough that you can't actually always remember what's said. And
No.
so I encourage you. It was actually the first question you asked or answered. And so Josie's YouTube channel is linked in the description of this video. If you click on that, go to her lives, and you'll
And it's
see
the
her.
very last video.
Yep, exactly. And the
Mhm.
very beginning too. So
Yeah.
it was a really powerful message. Josie,
I
thank
didn't
you
even
so
plan
much.
on doing that like that.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Didn't plan on doing that like that. I didn't know I was going live on my channel because I thought I was just going live in Patreon. And then I
Right.
just let it. Like I said, I caught the energy and I said, nope, keep going. This is supposed to be like this. And lo and behold, you showed up and you asked the first question, and it happened to be a collective message. And I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely staying public.
Right on. Yeah. And then that's a good point that I to bring up right before we go is also that anyone who has been missing Josie, she's on Patreon, and you can go watch these for free. Like it doesn't
Hmm.
have to be paid. And so you can find that Patreon by going to this website I have posted here. And I'm really glad that you went live on accident, because I didn't know you'd been doing it on Patreon until you said that.
Hmm.
And so now we all know how to find you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's where I'm hanging out.
Yeah. Well, thank you so very much. I have to go find like my daughter and see what she's up to too. So it's perfect timing that we close up. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to have you on again soon.
Yes, love. I appreciate you so much, and your beautiful audience. Thank you so much, loves. I hope to see you in Qigong. And yeah, have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you. And yeah, thank you everybody for being here today. It's been a fun energy. Love you all. Oh, and Kenny says, love your
Mm.
energies together. Well, that's a lot of fun for me too. So